Hi guys, my name is Patricia Ruiz and I am a bilingual speech therapist. As you guys know, I am doing a series of videos for toddlers from about the age of 18 months to 24 months. So the goal here is to show you guys all the milestones that a baby at this age should be doing and how to do it and how to get your child to do it. And I'm also showing the toys and the techniques and the things I use to be able to get my patients to be able to do what I need them to do and what's expected for them to do. So today I want to talk about something super, super important, which is called imitation. Imitation is like the basis to be able to do anything. So when you're a baby and you're about 3-4 months old, you imitate your mom and the caregiver. So for example, if your mom's like bop, 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 the baby would vocalize bop, 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 bop. So it's an exchange. And the reason this is so important is for various reasons. But the first reason is because you're in terms communicating with your infant. You talk and then the infant, babbles, makes a noise. So that is super important because it also comes back to the communication feedback loop, which is, when you communicate with people and you talk to them, you talk and they listen and then, they talk, you listen. At least that's how it should be. And that's called the feedback loop. You tell me something, I process information, I think, I respond to you, you listen, and therefore, and so forth. So with the baby, it's exactly the same way. When you have a baby and you're like cooing with the baby, bop, 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 and the baby goes, bop, 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 we're already starting to communicate. We're doing the exchange, the feedback loop. So that is basis number one, right? So what happens after that? So after that, your baby should start to imitate you. And what does the baby imitate? It imitates your facial gestures. So for example, a lot of parents, have pictures with their babies that they open their mouth and they stick out their tongue, and then the baby will, we'll see the parent do it, and then they'll do it. They'll open their mouth, they'll stick out their tongue, they'll smile when you smile, they'll open their mouth, they'll close their eyes. So all these tools that you do with your baby when they're infants, meaning, from infancy to 12 months, is super important because that is the basis and the key to be able to move forward to the next step. So for example, imitation has many different reasons why it's important. And I just want to give you a little bit of information on what's the big deal, right? So the big deal is that babies in general learn from imitation. So they learn from copying others. You brush your teeth every single morning and your toddler sees you brushing their teeth. So they understand, ooh, I brush my teeth. They copy you. They copy you. They brush their teeth. They're learning. A lot of parents are always, like, oh, my child knows that when I grab the keys, I'm leaving the house. Yeah, they know that because they've seen you do it every single day, grabbing the keys. You grab the keys, you leave the house, and they're watching you. They're copying you. They're paying attention to what you're doing. Therefore, to imitate, they know what's going to happen next. So kids learn through imitation. So imitation starts with eye contact. First, the child has to be able to look at you to be able to imitate you. If he can't look, it's very hard to imitate because they're not looking. So if they're not looking, imitation doesn't occur. So imitation, eye contact, is also the first kind of imitation. So I'm looking at you, you're looking at me. You're copying me, I'm copying you. You're copying me as I'm looking at you. So that is like the basic first step of imitation, right? Even before you start ba 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 ba, the baby has to look at you so the baby knows you're talking, right? So the second step of imitation, they're not really in a particular order. They're all interchangeable, but in my opinion, for what I've seen, eye contact is the first basic form of imitation, of anything, of any building block. Baby has to look. Okay, so then there's also gross and fine motor imitation. I raise my hands, the baby raises their hands. I cover my eyes, the baby covers their eyes. These kind of imitations, we call them gross motor fine movements. I grab a cup, baby grabs a cup. So we call them gross and fine movements because they're gross and fine body movements, right? We're not talking about imitating what I'm saying. We're talking about imitating my movements. I jump, I sit, I lay down, baby imitates, right? I clap, baby claps. So those kind of imitations are important. We also then move forward to the imitation of sounds, which I made a video about the importance of imitating first sounds. So if you want more information about that one, you can check out that one. So then they imitate sounds, they imitate facial gestures, smiling, surprised, afraid, angry. So those facial gestures come into play also. Baby should be learning to imitate, and expect what goes with a facial emotion. Like if you're mad, baby should understand, okay, mommy's mad. And therefore, imitation goes along with play as well. It goes along with language. It goes along with joint attention. Imitation is, as you see, has its hands in everything, and it's the most important basic skill. Babies and toddlers learn by imitating their peers, by imitating their parents, by imitating their siblings. So your baby has to want and understand and know how to imitate in order for him or her to develop language skills throughout life, to develop social skills, to develop play skills. So why do we make such a big deal about imitation? Well, imitation is the basic blocks. If your child, goes to a playground and he's a toddler and the kids are playing ball or they're playing hide and seek, he needs to be able to copy that behavior and copy the kids in order to engage in that social interaction that's happening, which is playing. So if your child can't imitate, he or she's going to have a super hard time trying to play, because play is all about imitation. You have a baby, he rolls a car, your toddler rolls a car, and then the other toddler rolls a car and they play. So imitation is super important when it comes to language skills, to play skills, to joint attention. What do we mean about joint attention, and why is everybody hung up on it? Well, joint attention means that me and you are both playing and doing the same activity, and we're both paying attention to the same activity together. So let me show you an example of joint attention. I brought a few little toys because I wanted to show you guys how to do certain things. So for example, right, blocks. Toddlers should have blocks. These nice chunky blocks, they're plastic, nobody could get hurt. I mean, we would assume not to. So joint attention, right? If I had my toddler sitting in front of me, I would stack one block and I would stack a block. I would want my toddler to grab a block and stack it. That means he imitated what I did, right? He stacked the blocks. He paid attention. So we have joint attention. We're playing with the same toy, and he's following my activity, so he's copying me. So I stack a block, the toddler puts a block. So we have engaged in all of kinds of the imitation I said. Fine motor, we're grabbing, we're stacking. Eye contact, he's looking at me, I'm looking at him. Joint attention, we're both playing with the same toy, doing the same activity together. And if I add speech or sounds like, yay, or I clap when he does it, then, we've covered a lot of the imitation skills that we need. These imitation skills are so basic and they're crucial at the same time. And it seems like a no-brainer, like, okay, I get it. But a lot of parents and just people in general fail to actually, sit down and do something super simple as, imitating. Copying. So when your child copies, it's a really good thing. If your child is copying, you're on the right track. So I also wanted to show you something. I wanted to tell you a perspective too about two different ways, right? So there is definitely ways to show your child how to imitate. I've already explained why is it so important. So let me tell you two different ways that you could do it. So there is example. Let's grab my xylophone. So for example, right, I can hit a key. My toddler can hit a key, and he's imitating, and he would do the same, right? We want him to imitate. So how do we get him to do this? You could either, show him a few times, and if your child participates and does it and hits a key, any key, doesn't have to be the same exact one as you, but hits a key, imitate it, you elicit a behavior. So he did good, you clap, you give him a treat, you give him a goldfish, you give him a Cheerio, whatever your child is going to like, to elicit the behavior to happen again. So you do it again, you do it again, he copies again, you do it several times. You could sit him with certain toys that he likes and do it over and over and over again until your child is going to eventually get the point, like, okay, I copy, I get, rewarded, right? That is kind of like the behavior analyst kind of way of doing things, which is very structured. You do what I want, you get rewarded. Which is great, and it works, and it's been proven and researched that it works. So that's amazing, right? But there's also another way, in a more natural way, that you could do things. The second way that we can actually show a toddler to imitate is the more natural way, the more, naturalistic approach, not so structured as in sit down, you do this, I give you a treat, right? Which, like I said, works awesome as well. But there's also, many different styles of doing things. So the other way is a more natural way. For example, right? You have to get your child to want to play with you more than he wants to do something alone. We want him to imitate you. So one of the best things to do with children that they really like is play ball. Play ball is natural. It's a social game. It's a game that teaches so many things, right? So for example, I throw you the ball and then you imitate me and you throw the ball back at me. We throw the ball at the laundry basket. We throw the ball in the hoop, and then you copy me. You throw it in the laundry basket. You throw it in the hoop. What do we do when you're done? We clap. You threw the ball. We clap. We hug you. We spin you, so you copy, and it's fun. It's fun to copy. It's fun to play. So there's so many other games. There's peekaboo, right? Peekaboo, you could just peekaboo. What do you want your toddler to do? You want them to imitate the pika, like maybe not the pika, but the boo. So they're anticipating what comes next, and they're paying attention. It's joint attention because we're doing the same thing together. It's a social skill. You're copying me. You're playing appropriately. So there's just so many things that go along with imitation. It is definitely the basing building blocks, and it's what I tell parents all the time. Kids learn through imitation. Everything they learn through imitation. They learn how to play with their peers by copying their peers. They learn how to act, how to talk, how to be from their parents, from their siblings, from their friends. Like, it's just the basing blocks. And if your child can't imitate, or you feel like they're having a hard time imitate, you should definitely work on it. You should definitely try to teach your child how to imitate. But imitation is something that every child needs in order to move on to the next step. It's very difficult to teach somebody how to say their first words if they can't say their first sound, if they can't imitate clapping, if they can't look. It's all a hierarchy, and I always say it in all my videos. There's steps. You have to be on the first step to then go to the next step, and all the things are possible. Children definitely can learn how to imitate. You can teach them how to imitate. So if they're not doing it now, there's no need to freak out. You could just start teaching them, because it is a very important skill that I think sometimes gets overlooked by parents, and they don't really understand what is the big deal, but imitation is a huge deal. So aside from the two approaches I gave you, you could use anything to imitate. You could use your body, you could use toys, you could use your face, you could use a ball, you could use anything. Like, you could use blocks. Imitation. You want to roll a car? Brum, brum. You want your child to copy you and roll a car as well. Your car or two cars. You want to play. You want to brum, brum. And you want to play with your child, therefore copying you. Also, I brought Buzz. We're a Toy Story house in my house. So Buzz, right? Well, sometimes you have to make it fun. I mean, maybe your child, is not so interested in looking at you all the time, just like, how kids are, but they're interested in looking at toys. So, Buzz, what does Buzz do? Oh, Buzz covers, Buzz raises his hands. Yay! Buzz claps. Yay! Look, Buzz stands up, Buzz sits down. So you could do a lot of things, and you can also do it with your baby at the same time. So you want them to copy you. So, my baby girl, for example, if I tell her like, oh, look, Princess Poppy, put Princess Poppy to sleep, look, we're mimiendo. She will grab the doll, she'll imitate me, she'll copy me, which is awesome. If they're copying your play skills, you're on the right track. Research has shown that babies and toddlers that copy play, have a very, very, very good acquisition of language in the near future. So imitation is the building blocks for language development when your child gets bigger. If his imitation is not up to par, research has shown, this is not always the case, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but research has shown that language development correlates to imitation. So, have your child play with something today and have them copy you. Do it fun, do the cha-cha slide. That's always a fun thing in my house to do. Music, dancing, doing a special dance, the chicken dance, like all those things are super, super amazing things to do with your toddler for your toddler to start imitating you and having fun with it. I am the type of person that I like to do fun things. Fun is the key word when you want to help toddlers, do stuff and learn stuff. So this is the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I do have a series of videos where I go through all the little steps and hierarchy of things on how to get your child to start talking and how to get your child to meet the milestones that are expected of them, when they meet their developmental age. So thank you for watching, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Bye, guys.